I'm Megan Lee, and welcome to the Noob Reviews. I think I'm delayed. I look delayed. Like, sound and audio, like the audio and the... We're not matching up. Stop it. I think it's okay. I'm just gonna, check after every comic book. So, I just wanted to quickly go over... because I read this one. I've been reading a couple of these for fun. De Pate Freeling, the Inspector and the Pink Panther. So, most of these stories with the Inspector, he is honestly the worst police detective ever. Literally the worst. Absolutely 100%. The worst police detective. But he completely is oblivious and he believes he is 100% amazing, incredible. So he's kind of a dork, but that's okay. He does everything wrong. Things kind of work out for him anyway. He's one of those people and he thinks he's figured it all out and saved the day, and it's always been his coworkers around him, so nobody likes him. And then the Pink Panther, I didn't have a lot of memories of the Pink Panther at all, and I kind of found it a little boring. I'm not gonna lie. He wasn't that funny or entertaining. In this one, he's planting a garden. He's been given these magic seeds, and the seeds don't grow, and the person that gave them to him are I played you. You're a sucker or whatever. But then because of his belief in the seeds, the plants grow and whatever. It was just weird. And I was not amused by it. It was interesting. But yeah, not as impressed by that one. I don't even know if I'm going to keep it. Because I'm like that. If I don't like something, I don't want to keep it and have it taking up space. But yeah. There's not too many comic books I come across that I actually don't like. So there's that one. But I do like this. Da-da-da! Kitty Pryde Wolverine. So good. Y'all have to read this miniseries. It's a 6-issue limited series by Marvel. Chris Claremont is the writer. Alan Milgram is the artist. And it's, Stan Lee's presenting this. And this issue is called Terror. And so Kitty Pryde has followed her father to Tokyo because she has found that he is being blackmailed by the same people that Wolverine has dealt with in that 4-part miniseries I read. So her father's being blackmailed, and they're going to launder funds through his bank to their bank so that if they get found out, he's the one that's going to take the blame. So that sucks for him. And he's basically been kidnapped, or so it seems. So she follows him to Tokyo, and only to find out that, unfortunately, her father cares more about money and there's a word for this, but how he looks in society than he does about his daughter. Basically, he just agrees to work with these thugs. And she's trying to fight her way out. And she's just giving up on her dad. She's just going to leave him. They grab her dad, and they're chasing after her, and they basically tell him, you work with us, you don't struggle, and then you won't die. You let us have your daughter. And he agreed. He totally agreed. Okay, just take her. And then, He just wanted to save his own life. He actually didn't care about her in the end, which is horrible. So, she's just grief-stricken. And she can, morph through, solid objects. So she basically just allows herself to fall through this building. Wait, that's an ad. Wait, no, here we are. Okay. All the way down to the basement where she gets caught by this really creepy demon-masked creature. And we kind of believe that is the end of Kitty Pryde, sort of. takes us to Wolverine, who has... She made that phone call to the school, to Dr. Xavier's school, right? And Wolverine picked up, and she didn't say anything to him, but he's got this sixth sense or whatever because he's Wolverine and he knows things. So he went to Tokyo, and we get to go through with Kitty what she goes through. Basically, she's broken down as a human being, as who she is, as a person, and like he's just playing with her. Every single second, she thinks she's gonna die. But he's just breaking her down, breaking her will, breaking her... Basically cuts all her hair off. Whatever they did to her mind, she goes back almost to infancy in her mind. And that's kind of what your brain does if you go through like really serious mind control, CSI stuff. There's a whole rabbit hole on the internet if you want to go down that rabbit hole. Being there, super weird. But anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, like your brain, to like protect yourself, you kind of like you create different identities, right? Which is what they've done. They've broken her and they've created different identities that they can control. And so one of her identities is like she's this infant, like this young child. And all she knows is her sensei, her master, and him training her. And everything she does well and she does for him, she is positively reinforced for it and she is praised for it. And basically he's broken the will of the true Kitty Pryde, but he's building up the will of this new persona. And she becomes this really great fighter. But look at this. This is what he turns her into. This is what he does. This is what he does to her. She becomes the masked demon ninja. So, yeah. On top of being a mutant, she's now a masked demon ninja and will be used for anything and everything that these thugs desire, which is awful. Wolverine comes in all tough and ready to fight. Get them all. Nobody is telling where she is. She's in this place where she is actually really beautiful. I would go there, except for the creepy mind control dude. Look at it. It's like this lovely cabin in the woods. But there she is as the demon ninja. And she will literally do anything for him. Literally anything. Also, the action sequences in here are amazing. Not as amazing as the Wolverine miniseries, but they're pretty darn good. They did a good job. He calls her a true daughter of the demon. Better, in fact, than I was at your age. Unbeknownst to her, Wolverine is in the other room. He has made it all this way. Wolverine just knows stuff. He knows things. Just knows things. She is so manipulated, though. Like, she is so utterly under this guy's control. Because, like I said, she just lives for him. He's, like, calling her daughter, which gives her this sense of being and of purpose, because he's erased everything from her that makes her who she is. So to call her daughter gives her a place that she belongs, basically. He has become her family. She has no recollection of her past life, her real true father, mother, Wolverine, nothing. She is like far, far gone. And the pride that he gives her in calling her daughter, it kind of seals the deal. For her, like, she is literally his. And I'm pretty sure that the next battle, yeah, what does he say? I have an enemy. If not stopped, he will seek my life. I wish you to deal with him. Trouble yourself no longer about this foreign devil, Sensei. He is as good as dead. So he's going to put her up against Wolverine. And little does she know, this is actually the ultimate test for her. Because will she remember him? And if she does remember him, like Wolverine, will she continue to fight him? He has so manipulated her behavior. Anyway, so next issue is going to be the great battle between Wolverine and Kitty Pryde. Yikes. And it says a battle to the death. A duel. A duel to the death. A duel? Oh no. A duel. A death. So somebody is going to die? No. There's 4 more issues after this. Nobody important is going to die. Okay. So, my girl, Spider-Woman, because I found this, comic, the first floppy comic I found of her, because my first introduction to Spider-Woman was that novel we went through. So I was excited to find this. And then, of course, I need the one after because they left me at the worst cliffhanger ever. The worst cliffhanger ever. So this is Spider-Woman Battles the Enforcer. Stanley presents the mysterious Spider-Woman blacked out by the Enforcer. Written by Michael Fleischer, art by Jerry Bingham and Mike Esposito. An ear-splitting scream rends the Los Angeles nighttime like a shard of splintered glass as a red and gold-clad figure, her wrists pinioned tightly behind her back, plummets from a lofty rooftop toward a certain doom below. Is this the end of the arachnid adventuress? Has the alluring angel of nighttime flirted once too often with danger and death? So that's an exciting opening. But don't worry, because the real true Spider-Woman appears. True Spider-Woman. She saves this girl who's part of a sorority, and it's like a Spider-Woman sorority, and they all admire Spider-Woman. They dress up like her, and this girl decided to go be a vigilante, but she has no powers, so yeah, that didn't work out so well. Don't do that unless you have superpowers. But basically, she just says, stay out of the fighting business, stay out of my way. Because when I have to rescue people who are doing dumb things, then I can't fight crime. But basically what's happening is there's this newspaper reporter, turned her into a front page celebrity, so she's just selling. I hit the pause button on my keyboard, and I accidentally stopped recording. Okay. Newspaper reporter makes her famous, blah, blah, blah. And now he's just following her around because he needs to sell more stories, obviously. And she sells, right? Sexy women in tight outfit who can fly and stuff. That sells stories. It really does. So she's kind of pissed off about it. But, it's also helping her get more work, and getting all these bad guys, she gets paid for it. The newspaper tycoon, I guess he is. He owns the newspaper. He will do anything to keep her on there. And he had hired a criminal to cause trouble. And so she would bring that criminal in, and then he'd have more stories. But he didn't expect that she would catch him so easily. So, that plan was ruined. Haha. So he's got some other plan. A very, very, not super, well, it's kind of dark. He goes to the loony bin. He goes to the prison where the craziest, worst criminals are kept. And he wants to interview a certain somebody. Then that certain somebody is called the Enforcer. So she fought him in this previous episode. What, number 19? This is number 27. But yeah, so he fought him, and The enforcer is now in prison and says, there is no way I'm going to make you money. I'm not going to do an interview. When I get out of here, I want to settle my score with you, Mr. Newspaper Tycoon. You're a dead man. So that's what he says. But he also wants to get back at Spider-Woman, obviously, because he hates her more. And then the Newspaper Tycoon just leaves, and we think, oh, he's panicked. But he leaves his walking stick, which the enforcer sticks down his pant leg, takes to his cell and finds out it has this blade at the end. And it seems all accidental. What? The thing is, this is why you pat them down before and after visits. You know what I'm saying? Nobody patted him down. I mean, this is like, what, the 70s? So, okay, fine. When was this one written? 1980. 1980. Yeah, they did. I don't know. Anyways, this prison guard did not do his job and did not pat down the enforcer. Mr. Newspaper Tycoon's like, of course I left behind my walking stick, because it all gets out in the news that the enforcer's escaped and he's killed some prison guards and blah, blah, blah. And Mr. Newspaper Tycoon is like, this was all his evil plan, of course. And now, guess who's out getting his gang together? Yeah, this newspaper dude is not nice. He left his walking stick behind, and Spider-Woman is a bounty hunter. The offer of a large reward should certainly succeed in attracting her attention. But most important of all is that the courier is sure to garner virtually exclusive coverage of the mighty battles sure to come. By dint of the simple but diabolically clever fact that prior to visiting the prison, I arranged to have a tiny transmitter installed in my walking stick. Not only did this walking stick have like a dagger thingy in the end of it, it's got a very nice microphone on it, hidden. And he can listen in. So apparently, like, the enforcer still has this thing. It's like microphone. The walking stick with the microphone. I guess he hasn't been able to get a hold of other weapons, so he just is keeping it. But I mean, this guy, the problem with his plan was the possibility that the enforcer would just chuck away the walking stick and then find out that it belonged to the newspaper tycoon, you know? So everybody got lucky in this. Seriously, though. Also, what is he doing? Oh, yeah, he's got fancy darts that he shoots at people. He doesn't have a real gun. He just shoots darts of, like, gaseous substances that make people blind and whatnot. Oh, my gosh. I love this part when I turn the page and, like, there's Spider-Woman on her ceiling painting. Like, she's just up there painting. And I was like, man, that's got to make it so easy, like, get the cobwebs in the corner, like up on the ceiling, paint your ceiling. She's just doing normal person things in a not normal person way. Watching TV, finding out the enforcer is out, and figuring out where to find him. Why do people always wear those handkerchiefs on their head when they're cleaning? Maybe you're like dusting things, you don't want dirt falling on your head? Didn't they like have elastics or something back then? You'd braid your hair back or whatever. No? Maybe? Whatever. Anyway, she goes to museum, dresses up as museum person guy. That's a great, look at this disguise. She looked like a dude. I mean, we see her in shadow here. So that's her disguise. And she just leaves it behind. Out she comes the Spider-Woman. Save the day. It's the Spider-Woman. And there's obviously a planted reporter here getting pictures of the fantastic battle between Spider-Woman and Enforcer. This has literally every 2 pages, there's two pages of ads. Wow. There's an ad for the only Star Trek model kits in the universe on the back. Okay, I don't care about building models, but that's kind of cool. You know, there's a lot of dudes with guns. And I know she can move fast, but I don't see how she didn't get hit earlier on. Although she gets hit by this dart that paralyzes her, so, you know. Yes, and I learned something interesting about Spider-Woman. So because she has the, like, if anybody shoots her up with any sort of toxin, her body has the ability to, I need to make sure. Once any toxic substance has been used against me, my arachnid metabolism automatically builds up an immunity to it so that it can never affect me again. Enforcer's figured this out, and he has made this whole new concoction of a horrific toxin. Well, the Enforcer gets her and takes her off, and then this criminologist decides that he can go save her. Yeah. I commend his courage, I do. But the fact that he went off in his wheelchair because he can't walk, that's not his fault. But, like, what did he think he was going to do? He didn't get anybody else's help. He literally went off by himself to save Spider-Woman. So many ads. Ugh. Okay. She's at a meat packing plant. Why is it always... I mean, I guess deserted warehouses are just the best place for crazy things to happen and thugs to hole up in. But seriously, they're at this meat packing plant. And the toxin wears off. She's able to break out. And just as she does, Buddy here arrives. He calls himself the other half of the super team. Who is he? Is he somebody, or does he just think he's somebody? Maybe I'm just being mean. Criminologist Scotty McDowell. I don't think they know each other. He arrives, and just as she is breaking out, anyway, she does. She does know him. She calls him Scotty. Anyways, Enforcer shoots him down, and that's... I now need Spider-Woman issue number 28 to finish the story. Like, that's how they leave me. Right there. Right there. There you go, Megan. Have fun with that. Have a good time. This is what you get. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye. What's going to happen? Like, I don't know. What's going to happen? Bah, humbug. Watchmen. Every issue I like better and better, because now I understand what's going on. So, Rorschach, whatever, the R dude, but the weird name, was trying to figure it out. So it's kind of mean. This poor old man, who we've been led to believe is possibly a bad guy or has had dealings. He hasn't made the best life choices. But now he's a super old man. He's got cancer. He's dying. Mr. R sneaks into his house, leaves his jacket and a note in the fridge. Behind you. And then pushes him into the fridge and confronts him. He just pushes this poor old man into the fridge and makes him sit here in the fridge while he talks to him. The old man says, can I get out of the fridge? No, you can't get out of the fridge. Who interrogates somebody inside of a freaking fridge? R does. They're talking about the comedian who visited this dude, mentioned a list. He and Janie Slater talked about messing with Dr. Manhattan. Manhattan is publicly disgraced, forced into exile. We read that. Allegations he'd given people cancer. This dude and Janie Slater. So we've got all of those allegations, right? That's what we found out in issue 4. And Dr. Manhattan brought himself to Mars and isolated himself there. We find out that this poor old dude doesn't really know anything, and he is being used. Mr. Jacoby knows nothing about any attempt to discredit Dr. Manhattan. He's simply been used. There's not a lot to go from there. People in the city are getting crazy. There's crazy murders. This guy murdered his kids and then himself right in front of his wife because there are rumors of World War III, right? We've got Russia invading Afghanistan. And we still have that same story. That the story of the dude that was marooned on the island. I wondered if they were going to keep it up. So we have the young guy sitting outside the newsstand reading the story about the man that's marooned. as the newsstand guy kind of has this kind of monologues about the way that the world is going as we follow people's lives through the Watchmen. Rorschach, whatever, is mostly the main character in there, beside the newsstand guy. And this story gets really dark. In the back, it tells us it's called Tales. It's from Tales of the Black Friar. Written, the artwork is by Joe Orlando, and it was written by Shay. They just keep calling him Shay. What's his name? Nobody tells me. Anyway, it's super bloody, and it's about this ship that basically, if you're a bad person, you are doomed to sail on this ship forever and live this horrible, horrible afterlife. And it's super bloody and insanely creepy, dark. Come on. There we go. Really dark. They're about to take that kid's head off over there. Yeah. This ship has basically marooned the dude on the island. And to get off the island, it has marooned him, killed all his shipmates. And so he takes the bodies of his shipmates and uses them to make a raft. Puts the wood, ties the dead, bloated bodies together. Puts the, fallen tree trunks on top to give himself some buoyancy. And off he goes to sea to go find his family. And, warn the town that this horrible ship is coming. Oof, sorry. I read enough to know that I'm very intrigued by it, but also now I kind of understand how the story goes. I don't need to read it. But if anybody's interested in dark, very dark pirate stories, Tales of the Black Friar might be up your alley. Go check it out if you want to. I don't. Lori, she used to date Dr. Manhattan. He left. Dr. Manhattan's apartment became like a they thought there was radiation everywhere, right? So she wasn't able to live there. And she meets up with, I'm so bad with names. I hate how bad I am with names. Lori meets up with Dan. He buys her lunch. He's like, where are you staying? And she's all, you're going to stay with your mother? She's all, heck no, I'm not staying with my mother. I'm going to sleep on a grate or a park bench if I have to, which sounds horrible. And her accounts, because they're connected to Dr. Manhattan's, I guess, she can only get into her savings account, whatever. So she's going through a rough time, and Dan says, well, you can stay with me. And this is his line. It isn't much, but it should be comfortable, and I'm sleeping right down the hall. If you wake up in the night and need anything, like coffee or aspirin, stuff like that. Okay. And she's all just like, oh, I'll be fine, blah, blah, blah. Good night. Poor dude. He didn't really shoot his shot that well, and then he goes to bed a little frustrated. What does he say? Hell and damnation. It's so funny because his suit is kind of ill-fitted, and he just doesn't look that good in his suit and his glasses. And then he's laying in bed. I'm like, oh, he's got a nice back. Why do I think that? I don't know. I'm sorry. But I was like, he looks more attractive from that angle than any other angle of him in this comic book. I'm a horrible person. Right? This is him. He's not an attractive looking dude. But then I was like, oh, okay. You got nice, what are those back muscles called? Ugh, I need help. I need therapy. Let's just move on. It's fine. Anyway, attempted, everybody thinks World War III is coming. There's an attempted Mr. Vite. There's an attempt on his life, and we have this super epic battle. Look at this battle in the fountain of this. Look at this battle. What? All the action. So he knocks this guy out, almost, and then this guy tries to take he's trying to take a poison capsule. Takes it so nobody can get any information from him. Basically kills himself. Unalives himself. Now, can't find anything out about this dude or who sent him. Because, obviously, this is just someone who's been paid to go, take his life. We have a lot of storylines going on. That's the thing about Watchmen, and that's what makes it difficult to follow. But I feel like I'm following it better. Rorschach goes back to Jacoby's house because Jacoby has said he has information for him. And Jacoby has also been unalived. And Rorschach has walked into a trap. The police are there. Looks like SWAT. Basically, the SWAT team is there. They've surrounded him. Rorschach sets things on fire and jumps out a window. They catch him, and here's where we see his face. We finally see his face. We see his face. He allows other people to see his face. We finally see his face because they do catch him. We find some things out about him. He seems to be like a very awkward dude. His shoes have got pads, like they're elevator shoes to make him seem taller. So apparently he's a lot shorter than we've been led to believe. And he's not the best looking dude. That's not his fault. They call him an ugly little zero who's the terror of the underworld, and they're going to lock him up. So now Rorschach has been caught. And he's been the one that has been, besides the newsstand guy, like we started out as Rorschach as our narrator. And then the newsstand guy was the narrator, and Rorschach became more of a forward character. So we've lost our narrator now? I don't know what's going to happen. I'm actually, for the first time since reading this series, I'm intrigued to see what happens next. So if you were to read Watchmen, give it 3 issues. Give it 3 issues and read the stuff at the back. It'll all make sense over time. Alrighty. You guys can catch me. Oh, yes. Monday, tomorrow, Manga Monday. I'm going to go over chapters 4 and 5 of Demon Slayer. Wednesday, I will be reviewing Isom. I'm so excited. Probably not the whole thing. I don't know if I'm going to get all of it read in time for Wednesday. Thursday, Weebs and Waifus, most likely. Friday, Blast from the Past movie reviews with Steven. We are going over The Lost Boys, which I'm about to go watch. It looks like a vampire adventure story. So it should be interesting. He promised me it's a good movie. I will see you guys sometime.